Well, a very good afternoon to you all. I hope you're all good. It's Wednesday, it's the 13th of December 2023, and we're here to take a look at the weather patterns for the next sort of 4 to 5 days. But then we're going to have a sneaky peek at the trends in the 7 to 10 day period, taking us up to Christmas. There is a change on the way, and yes, there is the potential this year for some snow. So sit back, enjoy yourself. It should take about 10 minutes. Going to cover a bit of ground, but yeah, let's hope that we can get into this and get the picture clear. I'm going to do a few of these as we go through the next few days in the lead up to Christmas. So yeah, all a bit of fun really. So let's get back to the here and now. Well, this is the situation across the UK. It's a case of west is best today. It's rather cloudy and murky over on the eastern side. This is the situation on the Norfolk coast at the moment, but come inland to Warwick and the Midlands, you've got some clearing skies there, and then down towards the southwest in Devon at Plymouth on the Hoo, a sunny afternoon, the forerunner of things that are going to be coming. Things are going to start to settle down. Right now, we've spoken about changes in the pressure. That was what we were speaking about a couple of days ago, and this is still the case. So at the moment, as we've seen, low pressure is over in the Low Country to bring this rather damp and murky northeasterly flow at the moment that's keeping eastern areas a bit sort of miserable today. But there you go, those greens disappear, and by tomorrow and then Friday, suddenly we turn red. Area of high pressure across northwest France, across the Cherbourg Peninsula, will be making sure that the UK, certainly the south, England, Wales, and Ireland, become drier. And then as we push towards the weekend, high pressure well in control of the situation across many parts of England and Wales. 1045 millibars high, very high pressure, and then that situation is maintained as we go into Sunday. It's not going to be dry everywhere. What will happen is that towards the north of Scotland, you're always going to be on the periphery of these low pressure systems that will be firing in from the Atlantic still. And if we have a little look at the jet stream profile, this is how things are playing out. So today we've got a jet stream that's coming down across the UK from the north. That's why things are rather chilly out there at the moment. But towards tomorrow and then Friday, notice how that jet stream then starts to migrate further north, taking with it the Atlantic weather systems, the rain, and down in the south. Well, yeah, we've spoken about it before. High pressure, pebble in the stream, diverting all of those low pressure systems well to the north. So we'll have a little look at how things are going to be playing out with regard to the rainfall over the next few days. Not very much is on offer now, I'm pleased to say, across many parts of England and Wales. This is the situation today. So we've seen a lot of rather cloudy, miserable weather in the southeast. That is now pushing out the way, and it will become drier. Tomorrow, there is a weakening, fragmenting front pushing down from the north, but yeah, it should, to all intents and purposes, be a dry day tomorrow. And then by Friday, there's that area of high pressure across the south starting to dry things up, starting to turn things clearer. And those rain bearing systems, then by Saturday, just restricted to the far north of Scotland. We'll run that sequence through Saturday into Sunday. That's where the weather systems remain just across the north of Scotland, towards the west of Scotland, towards the islands and the highlands. And then that is the way it really then plays out. But this is where the next change starts to occur. And we're going to run this forward to Wednesday the 20th, because this is the cold front that will be marking the change between the mild weather for the next few days and something significantly much colder as we lead up to those days before Christmas. And this is where the risk of snow comes in. Already on that chart, you see those purples in that cold polar air mass will be turning wintry, and it won't take long for those to start turning wintry over the northern hills of Scotland and those mountains as early as Wednesday the 20th. So yeah, that's the second part of this story. We'll be coming on to that in more detail in just a moment, but we'll take a look at the rainfall distribution for the next 5 days. With the area of high pressure, it's fair to say very little rain in store for many parts of England and Wales. many areas having nothing at all, but over towards the west of Scotland, towards those islands and highlands, as we mentioned, a fair dollop of rain, up to 150 millimetres in the next 5 days. That is called orographic rainfall, and that is what you get when you get warm, moist, unstable air coming across the Atlantic. It's forced to rise on those mountains and it drops it in the form of rain. So, yeah, that's where you're going to get the rain for the next 5 days. Right, we're now going to take a look at the temperatures. We've looked at the pressure patterns, we've looked at the rainfall distribution, and we'll now take a look at the temperatures. So today is a rather chilly day across the UK. There's no prizes for guessing. Temperatures are rather suppressed out there, between around 6 and 8 degrees, and this is the anomaly chart, 0 showing that we're pretty much bang on average for the time of year. It's milder across Europe, and it is also milder across many parts of Iceland. Those anomalies 6 degrees above the average for those locations. But look towards the northeast, Scandinavia, still very, very, very cold, deeply in the freezer. 15 degrees below their average. So that has been cold, and it will continue to be cold, at least for a couple more days. And we'll have a little look at the camera. It's not a million miles away. This is the situation in Oslo at the moment. Looks like a different world up there, doesn't it? Look at that. -4 degrees, 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Snow on the ground, as it has been there for a couple of weeks. So, yeah, winter is really, really taking a grip up there. But things will start to change up there as well. And I'll show you for why. If we just come back to those temperature anomalies. So this is the position as we've seen it today. We'll run it forward to tomorrow. Things start to warm up across the west of the UK. The cold holds on over Scandinavia, but then as the area of high pressure starts to push its influence across the Bay of Biscay, notice how it's starting to draw up some really quite long fetch southerly, southwesterly breezes that will be turning things milder across the west of Ireland, Scotland, and by the end of Friday, even parts of southwest Scandinavia that have been in the freeze, as I mentioned, for over 6 weeks now. By Saturday, that very, very mild air has now pushed across many parts of the north of the UK. So that's Ireland, Scotland, and look at that, Norway and Sweden are well above average by that stage. So a thaw will be taking hold by the time we get to Saturday, with just the frigid air just stuck towards Finland and Western Siberia by that stage. And then as early as next week, or should we say the 17th, that much milder air has then infiltrated many parts of northwest Europe, all the way through Scandinavia, all due to this area of high pressure over France that will be steering in westerly breezes. Right, so we've now taken a look at the pressure pattern. We've come here, haven't we, to take a look at what's going to be going on in those days before Christmas. And this is where the changes are going to start. So let's get the cursor to today. We're going to take a look at the upper air profiles, the 850 HPA temperature. That is 1500 meters up in the air. This is a very good representation of the air mass temperature. It's quite easy to sort of give you ground temperatures, but at this time of year, very, very difficult. You could get inversions where you get artificially low temperatures, artificially high temperatures. This sort of stuff gives you a really good idea of where the air mass is coming from, the body of the air mass, and just how cold it is going to be. So this is the situation today, and this is the situation tomorrow. So these are your temperatures a mile up in the sky. Rather milder air starting to push in from the west across many parts of Europe. And then over the weekend, notice how that milder air starts to flood up from a long way south. You look at this, all the way down into the central Atlantic, well beyond the Azores. So yeah, that mild air will be pumping up firstly across Ireland on Friday and Scotland on Saturday, and then into parts of Scandinavia as we move into Sunday. Yep, so very, very mild air to come there, and things will obviously start thawing out in Scandinavia. Right, the fun starts on the 20th, and what we're now going to start to show you is a cold front that is going to mark the boundary between what we're going to have in the next few days, relatively mild air, and much colder air starting to infiltrate from the northwest by Wednesday the 20th. You saw it on that chart. There was that cold front with the snow showers following in, and that's on Wednesday the 20th. But look, by Thursday the 21st, the shortest day everywhere is across the UK, back in some quite cold upper air. You're talking 850s of -6, so it will become quite a bit colder up there. That's the body of the air mass, and notice how it's a really big swathe of cold air pushing across the Atlantic. That will be unstable. That will be bringing showers, wintry showers, onto many western and initially northern parts of the UK. By the time we reach Friday the 20th, or should I say the 22nd, that cold air by that stage has now pushed down into many parts of Northern Europe as well. The UK, colder air has started to get back into Scandinavia, and this deep area of low pressure just to the east of Iceland, acting as the catalyst to draw down even colder air on its western flank across Iceland. So then by Saturday the 23rd, just 2 days before Christmas at this stage, we are still cool, cold, we are unsettled. There are little low pressures, deep areas of low pressure in the mix. So yes, the risk of snow does increase in this setup, as we saw last year. Similar kind of setup, get the cold in for a few days, and then let the weather patterns sort themselves up, and it's then that you quite often get these surprises. So there you go. There's Christmas Eve. You've got quite a cool picture now by this stage across many parts of northern or northwestern Europe, and even on the big day itself, all a long way off at this stage. We're talking 12 days away. The cold air is in. It's across the UK. It's unsettled. There's still active areas of low pressure to the east and to the west, and the upper air will be cold enough to be supporting wintry precipitation. But we're 12 days away. The devil will be in the detail. We'll keep following up on this over the course of the next few days to see if confidence is going to increase or decrease. Right, now what you do get with my forecast, you don't get a snapshot forecast of one run. I'm not one of these guys that puts on these big scary headlines. Oh, Snowmageddon, UK, killer snow, blah, blah, blah. I like to look at this a little bit more objectively, and what I will do, as I usually do, is I will use a set of ensembles to see if there's any confidence. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you the eight. Let's get that thing out of the way. I don't know if you can see that right. There we go. So the first thing we're going to look at those 850 HPA temperatures, those temperatures a mile up in the sky. This is run from the GFS this morning at 6 o'clock. Notice towards the left-hand side, that's from the here and the now. And as you would expect, all the starting data goes in via the weather models, and out they churn all their data, and they go off in the same direction for a few days. But then the butterfly effect, little changes here and there, will tweak as things go on. And then naturally, as you would expect, as we move further and further into the future, the confidence becomes less so. Hence the reason why you get more spread on these ensembles. As a weather forecaster, this is the tool to use. So I think looking at this chart, we can all agree that very good agreement up until the 18th or the 19th. Upper air temperatures mild, as we've got that area of high pressure in, but then there is a sudden drop in London around the 19th, and those upper air temperatures drop very close to -5. Now, -5 is generally the line that we look at for the chance of wintry precipitation. So not always guaranteed. Sometimes you can have a bit lower, sometimes you go a bit higher. But yeah, generally it puts you in the ballpark area of wintriness potential. So we also then look for clusters as well. And yeah, although the confidence does become less so after the 19th, I think if you sort of squint your eyes a little bit, you'll see around about the 22nd to the 25th, there is a fairly good cluster there for suggesting that temperatures will be in that -4 to -5, 850 bracket. Right, so that's London. Let's have a little look at Manchester. This is a UK forecast after all. And once again, yeah, no prizes there. It's all very good agreement up until the 19th. We've suddenly got that plunge around the 18th into the 19th. That's next week. That's one of those cold fronts that's going to push through to change things. And then once again, yeah, things do turn cold. Pretty good agreement for it. And if you squint your eyes, you'll see there's at the moment, certainly today, a very good cluster between, say, the 22nd and the 26th or 25th. Got some quite cold air across Manchester as well. Let's trek further north into Scotland. We'll go to Inverness, and very, very similar picture there. Notice how that drop in temperatures, perhaps a little bit earlier, where they will be coming down from the north, and then thereafter, temperatures do fall away quite consistently in that -5 to -7 bracket. Right, we've mentioned snow. What we will do is these little charts are quite useful in giving you a little idea as to, if the models are sniffing any snowfall. And if we go to London, well, there's not much on offer, but there is enough here for us to talk about. So certainly nothing until the 19th or the 20th, and then from the 22nd through to the 26th, past the big day itself, when there's a few little spikes there for snow. The potential is there. So yeah, this is why we started these forecasts. That's London. Let's head towards Manchester. Up there you go. And again, snow spikes for Manchester. A few picking up on the 19th, but again, the main action starting around the 21st, 22nd, even up to the 25th and 26th. There are still some spikes there showing that, yep, we're going to be in that ballpark territory. It will be cold enough, and there is wintry potential. Some quite high spikes there, up to 20 degrees, they're up to 20 centimetres, but that's an outlier, exception rather than the rule. Right, and then finally Inverness. Once again, as you would expect, further north, colder up there, certainly more snowfall spikes up there from the 19th right through until the 26th, 27th. In fact, some of those carry on up to the 29th of December. So, yeah, good agreement, or relatively good agreement, for a cold spell starting around about the 21st, 22nd, with the chance of some snowfall. So we've covered a lot of ground. I hope you've all found it quite useful. If you do like it, please comment down below. If you really like it, give us a share. And if you really, really like it, please subscribe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to probably do these every sort of day or two for the next few days leading up to Christmas, to see if confidence is increasing or decreasing. But yeah, it's just a bit of fun, really, isn't it? Hope you all enjoy it. And I better get back to work, actually. So yeah, have a great afternoon, and ciao for now.